Hey everybody, welcome to another LiveLikeTim.com TV episode. Today, we're talking about the #1 diet issue on the planet. I'm not talking about mercury in fish or pesticides in produce or even dairy or high fructose corn syrup. You might have guessed it, we're talking about gluten. You might wonder why gluten is so bad for you. Well, digestion is the absolute foundation of your health. In fact, most natural doctors think that the majority of all illnesses originate in the gut. Gluten destroys your health from the bottom up. When you eat gluten, it's almost like giving your body an internal sunburn. And then you pass toxins through your inflamed intestines, and then they circulate throughout the rest of your body. Imagine the havoc that's wreaked on all your systems and organs. It's really, really bad for you. Gluten is a protein found in grains like wheat, barley, and rye. These grains are used to make breads, pastas, pastries, tortillas, and you're not going to want to hear this, but beer also.
I can handle giving up the bread, but not the beer, man. I got nothing else in life.
You think he knows pizza crust has gluten in it?
What did you just say? No pizza? What am I supposed to do when I'm watching football? Someone go get my gun and shoot me in the head.
There are two types of problems associated with gluten. The first is an allergic reaction called celiac disease. As soon as you eat gluten, you get a severe and immediate reaction. Fortunately, celiac disease only affects a very small portion of the population. In my opinion, everybody else has at least some reaction to gluten, which is called gluten intolerance. Has anyone ever asked if you were pregnant? And really it's just lasagna? You're probably gluten intolerant. The problem with gluten intolerance is it's really hard to test for, and the symptoms don't even show up for a couple hours or even a few days. So it's hard to connect what you ate to the symptoms that you're experiencing 3-4 days later. There are a few telltale signs of gluten intolerance. When your intestines swell, it's not like you get jiggly fat. You get this big old beer belly, or usually on women, it's like that pooch that sits right there like you just swallowed a bowling ball or something. Doesn't matter how many calories you cut or how many sit-ups you do, it's still gonna stay there. Because it's not actually the fat, it's the intestines that are pushing your stomach out. If you're wondering why we have such a bad reaction to gluten, think of it this way. No caveman was going around for 14 hours a day picking little tiny seeds of wheat and barley just to eat and survive. It was just too tedious. Really, the cultivation of all these grains didn't occur until a couple thousand years ago, and our body just hasn't caught up and evolved enough to be able to handle those proteins. We actually react as if an invader was coming in and attacking our intestines and our body, which is why we have such a severe reaction. All right, the question becomes, what do we do about it? Certainly nobody wants to destroy their health, and I'm sure you don't want a big old protruding belly. There are some alternatives out there. You don't have to completely avoid all breads and pastas. Believe me, I'm half Italian. I love my pasta just as much as anybody. There's a really good quinoa pasta out there that I absolutely love. It's almost indistinguishable from regular pasta as long as you don't overcook it. All right, I'm not gonna lie. Most of the gluten-free bread is disgusting. It tastes like hardened sand, basically. There is one brand that I like called Joann's that's actually pretty tasty as long as you toast it. If you have to eat gluten, I really recommend using gluten digestive enzymes. Below you can find a link to the product that I recommend. You should still try to avoid gluten as much as possible, but hey, I get it, you know? You're gonna have to have a pizza night every once in a while. But still, do your best. It's gonna be worth it in the long run.